Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. I've traveled across the country and firmly believe that the people in small towns are the hands that keep America strong. So join me, Rodney Miller, as I show you the great things these people do on Small Town Big Deal. We're in Cooperstown, New York, a town they say is not on the way to anywhere, but it's home to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and that's all the reason you need. I'm Rodney Miller. Welcome to Small Town Big Deal. Here in Cooperstown, baseball isn't just a summer game. It's a year-round sport.
Legend has it that General Abner Doubleday invented baseball in a cow pasture right here in the 1830s. Many people dispute that claim, but the town leaders used that story to convince Major League Baseball to place their Hall of Fame here in Cooperstown. This town has about 2,000 permanent residents, but hundreds of thousands of baseball fans from all around the world come here to see the greatest of the greats in the Hall. They come not just to see the famous museum, but also all of the baseball-themed stores and shops that make up this town. Several thousand more youth baseball players will come all summer long to play in tournaments here. Whatever the reason, whatever the age, visitors do whatever is necessary to make this trip. A short walk down the block from the Baseball Hall of Fame, you will find the Cooperstown Bat Company. It's owned by husband and wife team Tim and Connie Haney.
As it stands right now, I think we're one of the oldest bat companies in the U.S.
Of course, you have a tremendous advantage being right across the road from the Baseball Hall of Fame, so
we'd like to think so.
It is. Actually, being in Cooperstown and the home of baseball, there are a lot of baseball families and fans that come to Cooperstown. And one of the things is if you're a baseball fan or a baseball family, a lot of the people that you know, that you spend time with, are also baseball families. And it's a big part of your life.
So for those people, when they come to Cooperstown, an important souvenir to go home with is a special bat to remember their visit. That's where the Haneys come in.
Tim, tell me about the bats you create here.
What we do is a very unique kind of baseball bat. The bat company originally started as collectible bats for Hall of Famers. So our first bat we ever made was for Pee Wee Reese.
When you wander through the store, you will see the names of many of the great players who are celebrated in the Hall of Fame down the street. But that's just where it starts. You will also see replicas of bats from the early days, bats to celebrate weddings, anniversaries, and retirements. And with thousands of little leaguers who come to play, there are bats to celebrate every team. But when you go through the bats in the store, there is definitely a unique American flavor to what you will see. From Tim's idea of the bat flag, to the Special Armed Forces themed bats, including a special bat they did for a unit of helicopter pilots serving in Afghanistan.
And they actually have it hanging up in the flight room, and they all took a photograph of themselves with the bat as the backdrop and then sent it over to us to just say that it was probably displayed in Afghanistan.
For Connie and Tim, that American flavor is important for them.
Baseball is an American sport, so it's like one of our only ones.
It's the American pastime.
It sure is.
And that's one of the things that we're very proud of, that everything that we do is made here.
And when Connie says made here, she means just outside of town in the Cooperstown Bat Factory. This turn-of-the-century feed store and trolley depot, now Bat Factory, is where the magic really begins, all starting with the wood, or billets, that are the beginning for every bat they sell.
Being in upstate New York, obviously it's the home of northern white ash. All the good hardwoods come from the Northeast. They like the cold winters that we have here where it drops the sap right out of the tree. So this is our original lathe.
This is the old school lathe that Tim and his crew used to turn a billet into a bat. By the time this lathe is done, this piece of timber will be the smooth beginnings of a Cooperstown bat. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home.
Now this looks a lot more high-tech.
Not everything is vintage at the Cooperstown Bat Company. They also have this computerized lathe, which can really crank out the bats.
See how this one vibrates a little more?
Oh, yeah.
And that's because it's under so much pressure.
Whether old school or new school, when the lathes are done, there is one more thing that needs to be finished before you move on to the next step. Cutting off the nubs, just like a carrot. Then it's on to be dipped and dried.
Now with these fumes, you don't ever tend to go a little batty in here, do you?
Oh, been batty for a long time.
Once the bats are, well, bats, they go back to the store in downtown Cooperstown to become personalized. Tim will take the design of your choice, get it set up in the computer.
So the first thing we do is try to spell things correctly.
Now what are all these bats?
Those are our mess-ups.
That looks like a lot of firewood.
That's exactly what it's going to be.
Pretty expensive firewood.
You're not kidding.
And then, using a laser, burn the design into the bat. Connie puts in the finishing touches, and then it's ready to present to its new owner.
What gives you the greatest personal satisfaction?
After you talk it over with somebody and you have this whole bat idea in front of them, and they come back an hour later, and then I bring up their bat to them, and they see their name on the bat. You know, they're just like, wow, I never thought a bat could look like that. This is like the greatest thing ever.
And then seeing those boys get their bats, they smiled. And you don't see those kinds of grins all of the time, but this is one of those things. So it's actually, that's what they give back to us.
As soon as they get it in their hands, they have to at least swing it a little bit. We actually have to, say, you might want to watch right here.
Well, actually,
You had any windows down there?
No, actually, no. And we have a lot of bats being swung in here. But it's funny, and then usually it's Mom who says, now put that away. We don't want anything to happen to that. So.
For Tim and Connie, bats are not just their business, but it's really their passion.
Basically, what we call it is going back to the roots of baseball. So there's this big push to go back to wood bats and the sound of the crack off the bat. And you become a true hitter if you can hit with a wood bat.
There you go, run, buddy, run! Okay, go, honey.
The Cooperstown Bat Company is a great family business in one of the great American small towns.
Connie and Tim, this has been a great couple of days. If people want more information, where can they go to find out more about Cooperstown Bat?
Well, basically, most of our business is done online at cooperstownbat.com, or they can call us toll-free at 888-547-2415, or just stop in and see us in Cooperstown when you're up.
For a guy who's had just the best job ever, and I really am jealous, but thank you so much for all you've done.
Oh, well, we appreciate you coming in. Actually, before you leave, we had one more.
Oh, wow.
This is
My
your
own
Cooperstown
bat with extra coats of, oh.
Right, yeah, and don't throw that one. Yeah, leave that one goes on the wall.
You're watching Small Town Big Deal on RFD TV.
It's time to man up with Massey. Take it from the farmers who already have.
We were John Deere, that was in our blood. We are now colorblind. We are looking for value.
Simply just gets the job done.
I have to say, Massey opened my eyes.
This isn't your daddy's Massey Ferguson.
We're not just out to change your tractor. We're out to change the game. Go to manupwithmassey.com.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. We're just down the road from Cooperstown at a little village called Fly Creek, and I'm actually on Fly Creek. There used to be 8 mills here, but there's only one operating mill remaining, and that's the one right behind me. But what's so special is they do it just like they did 100 years ago.
Flowing just as freely as it did more than a century ago, Fly Creek isn't just pretty to behold, it's pretty powerful. It's the foundation of Fly Creek Cider Mill and Orchard, a family business that sustained 3 generations. Bill Michaels is the second-generation co-owner of the Fly Creek Cider Mill.
Bill, this is such a picturesque area here, and this whole facility, what's the history?
Well, we're an original water-powered cider mill, built in 1856, continuing to press cider the old-fashioned way with the use of our turbine water wheel.
Barbara Michaels, Bill's mom, was a big part of making the mill what it is today.
Smashing is mixed a little bit, or you really have a unique capture of our vocabulary.
Did you ever dream it would turn into this?
No, we never did. My husband and I started the mill small in 1964. And I was teaching art and he was a union carpenter.
You had separate roles, you and your husband. What was your role?
Well, I created the gift shop in what was the grist room here in the mill.
This is where the grist mill was at one time.
This is where they ground the grain, and since I was an art teacher, I thought I'd make little clay things and some dried flower arrangements and things like that. While Charlie was downstairs doing the apple sales and grinding the apples, and
come right along.
It was on the weekends, and the lines were way out to the driveway, and people waiting for their own cider because they made their own hard cider in those days. Yeah.
The core of this entire operation are these babies: round, sweet, and juicy.
Makes me hungry.
I'm the vice president and the apple dumper too.
Numerous times each day, you'll find Bill, the self-proclaimed apple dumper, transporting thousands of hand-picked New York State apples from one part of Fly Creek to the next. And right behind Bill is Ance, a native New Yorker who has a wonderful way with the apples.
Nice and easy, you don't have to be fast about it.
You keep them coming, and I'll keep the conveyor full. This is kind of like shoveling corn.
Used to work New York City sanitation, 26 years.
Wow.
I moved up here, got a farm, and I do this.
I would never have guessed that because you don't have any kind of a New York accent.
There you go.
Spending time with ants and shoveling apples got me thinking about a second career.
You think I got a future in this if the TV thing doesn't work out?
I think so. I think you can fit right in here with no problem.
One thing's for sure, I'd never be bored here at Fly Creek. Take a look at the long lines that snake out the door and along the driveway. Barbara Michaels says the success of Fly Creek Cider Mill is just the result of good home training.
Now, was he like a tough kid when he was growing up, or?
No, not really.
Now, come on, you can tell the truth.
He actually lived down here. He did a little bit of everything. He helped me in the gift shop, and he made the cider, and then he wanted his own popcorn sales, and he would collect the money.
Bill, did you grow up wanting to do this? Was that you just had this dream to make apple cider, or?
Well, I grew up here. My sister, who was the smart one, became a teacher, and I decided that I wanted to come back in the family business and grow it, and I really think I'm the smart one now.
Apple frost made from our sweet cider, which we freeze twice.
And so does Brenda Michaels, Bill's wife and co-owner of the Fly Creek Cider Mill.
Brenda, Bill said he's kind of the brains of the operation, but I've been around him a while, and I'm guessing that's not the truth. What's your take on that?
No, he tells everybody that, because I'm the back of the house. I stay home and I make everything happen from home, and then I come in and sell wine on the weekends.
And I see you working pretty hard here too.
Oh, yes.
So this is definitely a family business.
It is a family business, yes.
It's a family business that's evolved into a profitable marketplace and a family destination.
That's good stuff.
Would you like a taste of fudge today?
It's a retail gourmet experience. We have barbecue sauces, dips, rubs, marinades. Upstairs we have a lot of seasonal gifts and merchandise. I would say there's probably more than 10,000 different items here, ranging from sweet.
And you want me to put a piece of tape on it?
Absolutely, so I can't get at it.
To tart.
Very good.
Very good. Decorative to shiny, crystal to fabric. Everything is right underneath these ropes.
And way under the roof, down in the basement to be exact, a 1924 Waterloo Boy engine that runs it all.
I'm just gonna
prime it?
I gotta prime it each time.
Here at Fly Creek, it's what powers the cider mill press.
And we throw the magneto over, stand back, and hope it starts.
Wow, it takes a hoss to turn that flywheel, I can tell.
One more time.
Are we done before we ever get started? Is this the end of our apple cider making journey? Stay with us. Small Town Big Deal will be right back.
No matter how good you are at what you do, sometimes you need a little help from your friends.
In the well, down in there.
That's how it is with Hay Farmers and Heston. For 65 years, we've been here to help you produce the highest quality hay possible. So when you're thinking hay tools, don't clown around. Stick with a brand you can count on. Because there's nothing we wouldn't do to keep you riding high. Heston, we know hay.
Welcome back to Small Town Big Deal. We're on Fly Creek, inside the Fly Creek Cider Mill, where apple cider is made the old-fashioned way. Bill Michaels, co-owner of the Fly Creek Cider Mill, has spent the last few minutes trying to fire up his 1924 Waterloo Boy Classic.
Now we don't have to choke it.
It runs the press that squeezes the apples and makes the cider. They say the third time is a charm, but I think I've lost count.
Sometimes when I get too tired, we say that the starter's broken. People understand.
Now we're back in business. Let's go back upstairs where thousands of hand-picked New York State apples are being washed, grinded, and then prepped to be pressed in what's called the rack and cloth method of making cider.
This whole process is just amazing. You know, I would just love to do something like this in retirement. So who knows? Maybe I'll come to upstate New York in a few years.
It takes about 32 bushels to make what's called a full cheese, which is the stack of ground apples. The apples are then rotated underneath our press, where the pump puts about 2,000 pounds of pressure right on the apple stack.
Now it's really putting the squeeze on.
Once that pressure is applied, fresh, pure apple cider is produced.
Is it all natural sugars, or do you add sugar to it? Or?
Our cider is made just with ground pressed apples. There's no additives, no preservatives, only the natural sugars that are in the apple. We try to blend at least 4 or 5 different varieties to make a nice, clear, clean cider.
Does the people's reaction make you feel good when they see the mill work and the cider press?
What affects me most is when you have generations coming back to watch the same pressing operation. You have a father, son, and grandfather or grandmother saying, I remember you used to do it the same exact way when I was a little kid, because they're watching the same process done with historic antique equipment, and it really makes you feel good.
So do you think, Mom, that you're going to go home and try to make some apple cider now?
No, I think we'll just buy it.
It's amazing how they do that and how fast it comes out. I don't understand that.
I've been coming to cider mill since I was a little girl.
So you obviously enjoy it.
Yeah, it's the best cider.
What do you like best about the apple cider mill?
The free stuff.
Once all the cider is pressed out of the apple grinds, this is what's left, a product called pampas that's delivered to local farmers who in turn use it as fertilizer. It's all about recycling, and I think I've finally gotten the hang of it.
Like this, hold this side too?
Yeah, swing it around.
I don't want to knock you out of a job though, you know. Job security is important here, I'm sure.
Something tells me he's not too worried. In fact, no one here seems to have a care in the world. With fresh, delicious, homemade apple cider at your fingertips, why would you?
So this is fresh.
And if an apple a day keeps the doctor away, well, you do the math. We could live forever here at Fly Creek.
That is really good.
Are we ready?
We'd like you all to join in. Oh, and your sweeties gloomy, all your families in a fix. Go straight to the Fly Creek Cider Mill, built in 1856, where the days just move more slowly, and life is true and real. Where cider's made the old-fashioned way, with a turbine water wheel.
Today's world's pretty fast-paced with the smartphones and all that. When they come here, they're usually with their mom, dad, they're with grandma and grandpa, and they're having fun. They eat the fudge, they eat the samples, and they go home and they're like, oh, what a great day. So if we can provide these families with just a little time together, I think it's worth it.
Preserving history by maintaining the original equipment, keeping our building with its original footprint right here on the banks of Fly Creek. I mean, we've been flooded out a number of times, but we keep coming right back at it. A lot of people probably would have given up, but by developing our marketing mix through the diversity of products that we offer, and now we have our online store, we're shipping products around nationwide. So all that energy and capital comes back in so we can maintain this destination for generations to come.
Everybody now, apples and cider, apples and cider, apples and cider at the Fly Creek Cider Mill. Hey, everybody!
If you would like any of the hundreds of things they have to offer, check out the Fly Creek Cider Mill website.
Cooperstown really is one of the great small towns of America. And we barely even scratched the surface of all there is to see and do here. And I was fortunate enough to pick up one of my very own small town big deal bats. For more information about these stories and other stories we're working on, just go to our website. We'd love to hear from you about the places and events in your small town. For all of us here at Small Town Big Deal, I'm Rodney Miller. Join us next time when once again we celebrate the great stories of America's heartland.
Hey, don't throw that bat.
I can be his #1 slushie maker.
Hurry up, Rodney.